Nice to have you back here in this new video. Welcome to our QooCam 3 Ultra video series. Today remarks the launch day for the Canon brand new QooCam 3 Ultra. We have been waiting for this camera for quite a long time, and I've been dreaming about having this camera for quite a long time. Well, until recently, that is finally possible to see the spec, the review the sample footage, and to get to know how it's been designed and engineered by the Canon engineers. I do have so much information to share with you guys, and this is the first episode of our QooCam 3 Ultra review series. So in this video, we're gonna cover something some basic information about this Canon QooCam 3 Ultra. And this camera was designed to be so powerful, and you might figure out some features with unexpected manners. And if you really want to know the background information and my personal humble opinion on this camera, you must watch the video. So now follow me, let's get started. I remember clearly that back in the year 2018, I joined the launch event for the worldwide QooCam 3 launch event. Well, on that launch event, I came across with Maktai Creator, Nodos, a lot of the pioneers in the 360 VR industry. And back in that time, I shot 360 with a mirrorless camera. I don't love the style, the shooting in one-shot 360, because I don't love the quality. But now I am a 360 shooter. Almost 99% of my 360 photo being captured with a one-shot 360 camera, and the quality is better and better. I mean, the QooCam 8K is definitely a miserable camera. It comes across a lot of trials and errors, because 6 years ago, you want to deliver 8K in dual fisheye lens structure. You have to redesign everything from start to finish. The Canon engineer has devoted a lot of time and efforts in developing the powerful QooCam 8K, and even built the raw parts inside the camera. Due to some major event back in that era, the QooCam 8K lacks the chipset. Actually, the Canon engineer has overcome the optical problem, and they overcome the battery issues. They overcome every problems the users come across back in that time. I knew the stories behind the scenes, but when the world had come to that specific moment, that is all you can do for the QooCam 8K. Here's a brief summary on the QooCam 3 Ultra. Dual 1/1.3 inch sensor with a brand new sensor, the cutting-edge technology in the industry. A redesigned optical system with large aperture and high quality glass that been optimized specifically for the quad bare pattern image sensor. And it can capture in 8K resolution. Yes, that's feature number one. And it can capture in 10-bit color profile, even with HLG gamma in BD 2020 color space. But more importantly, you can capture 8K in HDR, the real HDR, the hardware level, the sensor level HDR. It is possible. And the 8K resolution has been super sampled from that original 19.6 megapixels, and you can capture 8K in HDR or non-HDR format. For photo, 96 megapixels, that is 14K on long age, and it is possible to capture 96 megapixel in RAW, the DNG8, the fast burst capture, can capture 1.2 gigabyte data within second. Offset optical structure that maintain the best possible, the premium optical performance. Redesigned screen that is much sharper and accurate than that of the QooCam 3. A really powerful chipset that finally make this 8K a true high quality 8K. It's a lot more features I just cannot cover in the intro. So now let's go to the unboxing section. This is just a bite of the exciting killer features. Just want to know more, just follow me. Okay, now back to the QooCam 3 Ultra. Here's a basic summary on the spec sheet. First, let's precisely unbox the QooCam 3 Ultra, because I've been waiting for this camera after the previous QooCam 8K, and we have to unbox this product with caution and patience and expectations as well.
Let's take a brief unboxing on the brand new Canon QooCam 3 Ultra and the latest QooCam battery charging case. Well, it's a great accessory accompanied with the QooCam 3 Ultra, and I believe this is also a must-have accessory for this monster 8K camera. Beautiful picture of the camera, the 8K 360 video that written in flashing gold. On the other side, you can see literally some killer feature for this brand new camera. We could also cover all of them in our coming next sections. It is capable to capture 8K 30 FPS. At the same time, 5.7K 60 FPS is also possible to give you 2 times slow motion while still maintaining a crystal sharp image. Both 8K and 5.7K, this video spec are all super sample from this monster image sensor. Well, in fact, with QooCam 3 Ultra, you can record in Rec 2020 color space with HLG gamma curve at 10-bit color depths. More importantly, for photo capability also be dramatically improved compared to its predecessor. It is now possible to capture 96 megapixel photo with built-in GPS coordinate, while 96 megapixel photo, which indicates that the long edge for that rectangular image is actually 14K. So it is a 14K 360 camera in your palm size, while still are capable to deliver 8K video. At the same time, 4K 120 FPS with super steady, waterproof, spatial audio with 4 different microphones to pick up the audio from all directions in the ambisonic format. It is now IP68, the highest standard for the waterproof ruggedness. And on the back side, something inside the camera, the camera, the battery, the C2C cable, the lens cloth, the soft case, and some other scenarios for this camera, for hiking, driving, interior virtual tour photos. The cyclist and the ski lover are gonna love it as well. Now, open the box. The candle, see to believe. Slowly and steady, we are in this QR code. You can download with the latest QR code, you can literally download the latest software accompanied with the camera, the app, the tutorials, and the online user manual. This is a QooCam 3 Ultra in a package. Actually, the first time you get this camera, it'll be covered with a plastic paper that you carefully remove all the plastic paper to unveil this beautiful, nicely finished QooCam 3 Ultra. We're going to cover a lot about the information for this camera later in this video. And this is an accessory. The cable, here is the cable. The battery I have already inserted into the QooCam 3 Ultra. And a beautiful, nicely designed case, soft case. If you're an existing user for the previous QooCam 3, well, the lens cap for the QooCam 3 is also compatible with the QooCam 3 Ultra, because the optical lens looks pretty identical. Exactly the same size and shape, but with the 3 Ultra, a brand new image sensor and a much more powerful architecture is being realized in such form factor. Take a brief look at this battery charging case. It charges 2 batteries simultaneously, and this one is compatible for QooCam 3 series, that is compatible for QooCam 3 and the QooCam 3 Ultra. That is the charging box. The 2 slots. Well, inside this one, if you remove, well, these 2 slots are compatible for QooCam 3 Ultra because the battery is large, the capacity is large. So for the QooCam 3 Ultra, the battery, right, it's working on QooCam 3 Ultra. And if you put this plastic dock inside, well, it's cross-compatible for the QooCam 3, the 2 pair batteries for QooCam 3 as well. And you can storage 2 micro SD card on the top as well. The Type-C port on the side, and small, compact, the rugged, and it's beautiful. I mean, Canon must have learned something from THETA and Insta360, because it's a lesser case with beautiful finish when you have a 1/1.7-inch sensor and 2 large, high-quality fisheye lenses. So I wish that in the future, the lens cap should be included by default in the package, just like the QooCam 3. And yes, once you have mount the QooCam 3 Ultra, you're still capable to mount this quality mount thread on the bottom, and designed with a metal thread with reinforcement. The QooCam 3 and 3 Ultra share exactly the same thickness and width, but the QooCam 3 Ultra is inevitably longer, taller, and yet heavier. But the QooCam 3 Ultra is definitely, and it looks like the two cameras perhaps they share the same optical system because the lens looks pretty identical. When you touch the body of the QooCam 3 Ultra, it looks like you touch a baby. But this is the pure plastic. It's hard, and yes, it's hard. It's lightweight, and of course, it's low budget. For this one, all around, it looks like it's built with a hard silicon rubber on the frame for robust, and beautiful surface, QooCam logo, the LED indication light from the back, and the speaker, well, for ambisonic microphone system. It is a rear microphone, the left and right with the pinhole in left and right, and another one in the front. So it is a 4 microphone that literally are able to capture spatial audio with ambisonic sound. The power button, the mode button, an iPhone with the home button, and quick button, of course, the switch button. So altogether, you have 5 different buttons. 2 on the side, 3 on the bottom, whereas 3 of them are designed with the physical feedback. It also covered with a glass finish and a catalog logo. So this one feels more advanced, and it inevitably when you turn on the camera, the color, the accuracy, the pixel density, and the overall interaction with the camera, they're all built with a better experience than that of the QooCam 3. Looks like it shared some similar design with the QooCam 8K, with the previous model for the 8K camera. So the QooCam 3 Ultra is definitely a prosumer or professional 8K pocketable camera. The design with the fan, of course, will generate some noise, but you do have different options when you open the camera. Well, you can just stop the fan noise during recording, or with the performance, and so you can literally create 8K video with a long endurance. The 2 side doors, one of them designed with a Type-C port, support fast charge up to 5 watts, 3 amps, and the maximum charging speed is 9 watts and 2 amps, 80 watts. Designed with silicon rubber, so it is waterproof on the side. The battery is now a lot larger compared with that of the UHS2 standard micro SD card with support by the QooCam 3 as well. With such large battery, the QooCam 3 Ultra shares a better performance overall, even in 8K. And the battery case starts with the foam and silicon rubber, so it is also be designed as a waterproof. The weight for the QooCam 3 Ultra is 3,305 grams. So it's a lot heavier compared with that of the QooCam 3. For QooCam 3, it is around 188 grams. So almost double the weight for the QooCam 3. So the QooCam 3 Ultra feels really strong and robust in your hand.
Next up, I'd like to show you an in-depth walkthrough on the interface, because by walking through the menus, the options, the settings on your hands, get your hands on the QooCam 3 Ultra, you might literally figure out the real performance for this camera and what you can do with this camera. Just go beyond your expectations. QooCam 3 Ultra is a 360 cam with completely redesigned from inside out compared to the QooCam 3, and it remarks a brand new, the next generation milestone for this industry. So what you can do with the QooCam 3 Ultra, you might have figured out your answers by walking through the settings and the menus. Now let's get started.
Okay, now let me show you a quick walkthrough on the interface that built inside the QooCam 3 Ultra. So first, let's start with power on the camera. Just long press the button on the side, you can power on the camera. This is the QooCam 3 Ultra intro screen, and then you get to see the main light preview for this camera. And you get to see a lot of information behind the scenes. There's a brief interface, well, where they can select different shooting mode, including video, loop recording, time-lapse, photo mode, interval, and the famous DNGA shooting and auto exposure bracket. The shooting mode works pretty identical like that of the QooCam 3, but they have been completely redesigned from inside out. In the video mode, the maximum power, well, you can get 8K 30 FPS. Just take a look at a little icon on the top. A DR indicates that I have turned on the dynamic range boost. Well, this is a secret ingredient where you have an individual button that you can turn on the dynamic range boost in the settings menu, and you can change the color range in the BT709 or HLG 10-bit at BT2020 color space. I normally select the BT2020 in HLG Gamma to get the best overall color space, dynamic range, and I normally turn on the dynamic range boost when I have plenty of light. Turn it on or turn it off. Well, if you turn it on, your shooting gonna be limited to 30 frames per second. Okay, so for 8K, 8K 30, 8K 25, 8K 24, and the dynamic range boost, well, you can take it just like the HDR shooting. So the QooCam 3 Ultra is a 8K 360 camera that is capable to deliver 8K in HDR in 10-bit color depths, as well as BT2020 and HLG. Well, lower down the resolution to 5.7K at 60 FPS, well, you lose the dynamic range boost option. And I should tell you that with 5.7K, it's oversampled from the original 8K resolution. So it's a high quality 8K actually. So 5.7K 50, 30, 25, well, for 5.7K 30, again, you get dynamic range boost. 25, 24, because it's the super sample, oversample from that of 8K. And 4K 120, the fast slow motion effect in high resolution 4K 100. Altogether, the 360 shooting in video, the performance is dramatically improved from its predecessor. If you turn on the dynamic range boost, you get to see the icon on the top, and considering that the QooCam 3 Ultra has a built-in GPS, so it's searching for its coordinate. Because now I'm shooting in my studio, so there's no satellite around me because I am in the interior. But I'm shooting outside, as this icon stands still for indicates that it's now shooting with exactly the precise coordinate that captured by the GPS. It's been stitched. It's stitched in real time. And if you tap this button, you can select to the different shooting angle, and you can touch and rotate to see your perspective. And everything has been happening in real time, and it's stitched, stabilized, and in light preview, reframe in real time. This is how it works with 8K 30. And if you are, take a look. But if you tap the icon on the bottom right, you can select in between the front and rear lenses. Take a look. Tap lens 1, that is a front lens. The front lens is a lens that on the other side of the screen. The rear lens is a lens above the touch screen. And I have to say that the quality of the screen is a lot better compared to QooCam 3 and the QooCam 8K. Well, switch back to the rear lens, that 180 single lens mode. And the maximum performance you get is, take a look, 3.4K at 100 frames per second. This is pretty interesting spec. It's an interesting spec. And maximum 4K 60 and 4K high resolution. 4K 60 you get this performance. And yes, for 4K 50, 4K 30, well, you again gain the possibility for dynamic range boost. Take a look. This is how it works. And you can still manipulate on the basis of a single fisheye image. And if you scroll from right to left, you can customize your settings. Let's take a look. You can customize settings. You can select the auto mode or manual mode. In auto mode, you can select the exposure compensation and white balance. I trust the balance algorithm, so I always select to auto. And for the exposure compensation, I normally select to 0, or I should in the dark, I normally set to minus 0.7. Well, you get from minus 2.0 all the way up to 2.0, the full auto settings. But when you switch back to the manual mode, here's some tricky part. Well, for the QooCam 3 Ultra, the manual shooting mode has dramatically been optimized, because now you also have semi-auto exposure, just like you have on the Insta360 X4. Take a look for the shutter speed. But if you scroll from all the way to the left, you get to say auto. Now you can select auto, and the ISO, aka we select ISO 500, exposure value set to 0. Now we are shooting in the ISO priority mode. Well, ISO lock to 500 and let camera judge calculate the actual shutter speed. So it is a full manual control, but if you turn the shutter speed to auto, you get a semi-auto with ISO lock, ISO priority. And you also could select the ISO to auto and the shutter speed to 1/32. This is where you get the shutter speed priority mode, aka the TV mode. Well, you can see the sessions, the AV, the shutter speed, ISO, and the white balance. So this is a shutter speed priority mode. And if you lock the shutter speed to 1/100 and let camera choose the possible ISO range, this is where you get, take a look, the ISO is changing. You get this ISO change in real time. So, and with 1/100, you can get a great flow state stabilization. I mean, super steady. With 1/100, you get a buttery smooth, super steady stabilization effect in post-production, which is so-called sports mode in the QooCam 3. So the manual exposure, you get a lot further optimized for this professional camera. Yes, so far so good. And the shutter and the exposure strategy applies to photo and DNG8 and some other shooting styles as well. Okay, next up, let's take a look at the loop recording. Well, for loop recording, it works pretty identical like the video mode, but with loop recording, you get a loop storage space for your camera that you can loop recording to 1 minute or maximum 30 minutes. Well, if any content exceeds the length of 1 minute, that the camera could automatically delete the earliest section that to maintain that you get the latest 1 minute content. That was so-called loop recording. Pretty interesting. Well, you can actually capture the content before you press the shutter button. And it works on 8K 30 by 5.7K, exactly like the video shooting mode. And also get the auto, manual, semi-auto, these settings as well. Next up is time lapse. time lapse has also been saved as a standard video format, but the maximum performance you get is 8K 30, and this time you get the dynamic range boost option turns on. You can turn it on or turn it off, and the time gap you can select as fast as 0.5 seconds. For photo, yeah, I love the shooting style. For photo, the maximum resolution gonna be select to 69 megapixels. That is a 14,000 pixel on the long edge, 7,000 pixel on the short edge. That's 14K resolution. And if you use considering it is a quad bare image sensor, that with a large pixel binning mode, you get 24 megapixels. When we turn on dynamic range boost, you also get 24 megapixel, but with a lot better dynamic range. And for photo, you get JPEG and RAW plus JPEG. I've heard that in the future firmware upgrade, the Canon engineer are gonna add a HEIF, the 10-bit HEIF imaging format into this QooCam 3 Ultra as well. So in the future, perhaps this camera support JPEG, HEIF, as well as the standard raw DNG file. And you can save to 96 megapixels, 14K crystal clear and sharp, because the optical design has been dramatically improved compared to the QooCam 8K as well. And yes, you also get auto, manual, or ISO priority, shutter priority. And here is a global independent shooting style that you can choose different exposure on the front and rear lenses, that in case you come across with a extreme situation where you get extremely bright and extremely dark on the left and right. This is where you come across with a situation when you are sitting on the bus, when captured something outside the window is super bright while the interior is relatively dark. This is where you're gonna need the independent exposure. And let the camera and algorithm merge and process the exposure variation in between the front and rear lenses. Well, so far so good. Next up, let's take a look at the interval. The interval shooting looks pretty like the time lapse. That is saving in the RAW plus JPEG, and you get the 1 second gap. And we turn to the JPEG, well, perhaps only 1 second time gap. You get the different resolution for 96 14K, aka that the QooCam 3 Ultra is capable to capture 14K interval shooting style that inevitably can regenerate a 14K 360 time-lapse video, and if you reframe the basis of the 14K rectangular image, you get an 8K resolution. But it is possible to regenerate 8K reframe video from that 14K interval image sequences. Yes, you can save in RAW, JPEG, and RAW plus JPEG. The DNG8, which I love a lot about this camera. This time, it's different from the previous QooCam 3. Inside the QooCam 3 Ultra, the Canon has implemented a much more powerful chipset. Now you can burst capture 9 photos in 96 megapixels. It's pretty insane. And it's saved in 8 RAW file plus 1 JPEG file. It's lightning fast, and it's responsive. And you can actually select the long exposure time as long as 15 seconds. So it is possible. And this the DNG8 in the QooCam 3 Ultra. It is the ultimate. The DNG8, I think, it is the most powerful feature on the QooCam 3 Ultra. And yes, you can also capture in 24 megapixel, and when you're shooting in 24 megapixel, the dynamic range boost can be turned on. It's a pity that the in-camera RAW plus is still not available, so we are expecting this feature in the future firmware upgrade. And you can select the timer, up to 10 seconds, 2 second, 5 second. This is how it works. And if you're shooting the DNG8 into the internal memory, which you have around 100 gigabyte internal memory, it's lightning fast. Let me show you around. You can select the storage to the internal storage unit, and it's fast. Take a look. You have select 8 raw file plus 1 JPEG. So that exceeds that around, it takes space of around 1.7 gigabyte, you know. So 1.7 gigabyte lightning fast shooting save into internal memory. Just take a look. It's happening lightning fast. It's been done, and it's 96 megapixel. So the internal memory, it's so fast. It's pretty identical like an SSD. Next up is Auto Explorer bracket, which I still believe can be better in the future, because the Auto Explorer bracket is the must-have option if you want shooting for a commercial project, especially for the virtual tour photographers. Well, the time you get the bracket number up to 7, and for 7 Explorer, the Explorer step could be selected to 0.7 EV. I do hope in the future we have a 9 shots option with 1.0 EV step that exceeds the boundary of the possible quality, and you can select in 96 or 96 or 24, and you can shoot in RAW. And for 5 Explorer, you get a 1.0 EV session. I do hope in the future that we can lock the ISO, you know, at this time. At this time, it looks like the camera gonna lock the ISO to 200. But for the best possible quality, I always want to lock the ISO to 100 or even 50, and just a variant the Explorer with different shutter speed. Well, so far so good. I mean, this Auto Explorer bracket can be a lot better in the future with firmware upgrade, and I have proposed my feature request to the Canon engineer as well. So Canon engineers, just give us the ultimate AEB shooting style as quickly as possible in the next firmware upgrade. That's so far so good. This is a basic walkthrough of different shooting style. Next up, let's take a quick look at the settings at the scroll down menu for this camera. Okay, let's take a look at the scroll down menu and the specific settings. I can change the brightness of the screen. The display quality has been dramatically improved. The pixel density is great, and it's more responsive. The color is more accurate as well. And you can turn on the orientation lock or turn it off. If you turn off the orientation lock, that if you watch the camera in this orientation, you can flip to the other side. And you can select different the audio, the volume, because the speaker locates just above the screen. And you can use the Bluetooth mic to reconnect with your AirPods or the Bluetooth microphone like the InstaMic Pro Plus C. The settings, well, you have individual settings for dynamic range boost and color range. And anti-flicker, I normally select to auto, or turn it off, or the 50 or 60 Hertz. Video segment, I normally select the 10 minutes for safety purposes, or you can just cut out no segmentation as well. The bit rate, I normally select to high because I always presume for the maximum quality, and the bit rate is approximately 150 megabit per second. For standard, it's around 100 megabit per second. The location info, where you can turn on the GPS or not, I highly insist that you turn it on for better post-production. The storage, you can switch in between the internal or the external storage. For internal storage, yeah, you can copy and paste via the Type-C port on the side. It's a USB 3.2 Gen 1 socket, so that it's very fast. As quickly as 5 gigabit per second, it's very fast. I mean, it's even faster than that of SD card. And you can use the camera as an SD card reader via Type-C port as well. So once you have externally mount the SD card, that the camera can recognize as two individual mass storage device. One of them is built-in storage, another one is the SD card. And you can format the different space. The USB you can use a mini transfer or charge only. The Q button, you can customize the Q button. I normally customize as to change a different shooting style. The indication light, where you have two indication light, front and back. There's a front and there's a back. The fan setting is always on. I use always on, or I use a mute priority. Well, I use always on because I can use Type-C port as an audio input jack, which is a hidden feature I will show you later on in this section. Well, if you are recording the audio on the basis of the 4 microphones, I insist that to turn on the mute priority, that to capture the high quality audio from the 4 microphones around the camera body. And you can recalibrate the gyroscope, and you can reconnect to the Wi-Fi or use the camera in the hotspot to wireless connect to your app. The auto lock screen, I normally select to never, because the battery life is great. And I'm shooting 8K, so just can't wait to see what I'm capture every time. So I normally select to close. On power off never, I record temperature, select to high to record 8K video as long as possible. Different language, the date and time, and you can definitely update from GPS or update from your Wi-Fi. Take a look. So I didn't have a mount to internet, so you can turn on the Wi-Fi. And the camera can automatically connect to my router. And then it's time to synchronize. Yes, it's been synchronized. And you can resort to factory default. In about camera, you can check for update, and you can update firmware directly on the screen. You don't have to use SD card or use an app to update. You can use the update on your fingertip. Here's some certification info. That input maximum 18 watts. It's super fast. Okay, so far so good. This is the basic walkthrough on the different shooting style and the settings. I think you get the overall impression about this camera at this moment. Okay, after this basic unboxing and step-by-step menu UI walkthrough, I do have a little bonus content to share with you at the end of this video. That is the resilience for the USB Type-C port. I think that the QooCam 3 Ultra is perhaps a flagship model phone. That Type-C port, the engineers jam-packed a lot of features. By externally extend the Type-C port, you can literally get whatever you want, almost whatever you want. You can use the Type-C port, use the UAC audio, digital audio input, or you can even use a USB-C hub to extend HDMI port, or even display port. I have made my personal modification that my modified QooCam 3 Ultra now supports the magnetic snap quick charge, just like the MagSafe. Okay, next let me show you the power of the Type-C port on the side. Looks like the QooCam 3 Ultra looks just like a flagship model mobile phone. So you can literally use a USB-C hub to externally just expand that the Ethernet cable, the display port, the HDMI port, and even the audio port. So that later, next let me show you. In my several previous episodes, I have already used the QooCam 3 Ultra, the single lens 4K60 to capture my content, and the audio has all been captured via that Type-C port. And considering you can remove the Type-C door, and you need a very long Type-C port that reconnect to the side. Here is my solution for this option. Take a look. Here I recommend this wireless microphone system for the QooCam 3 Ultra. That's also called the Small Rig Wave W1/C. This is a wireless microphone system I've been using with my DJI Pocket 3 and the DJI Action 3, Action 4, the action cameras. Just take a look at how simple it is. One transmitter, one receiver, and a built-in wind muff. And more importantly, this Type-C port is completely invisible in your final shot because, well, not only you can power the port with Type-C port, and you can also use that antenna that you can rotate. I mean, you can rotate this antenna, the receiver antenna. That not only you can be powered on via the port, but you can also just make the receiver completely invisible. So this is a great option, and I've been using this combo setup for quite a long time. And here you can see the external audio input. Well, the icon on the top indicates that you are now recording via the external audio resource in the Type-C port. Yes, this is how it works, and it's cross-compatible for most USB-C audio input device, but only this device is completely invisible. Well, if you guys would love to purchase an USB-C to the 90 degrees angle adapter, this is going to be a bummer. And this is a magnetically snap that quickly snap and lock. Well, you can transform the Type-C port to the side, where you can literally insert a lot more accessory to your side, and you can transform your standard Type-C port as an external input jack. And it works magnetically snap and lock. It's another alternative solution for the QooCam 3 Ultra, and it's great. It's been working fantastic. I just love it, and I just can't wait to share with you this magnetic expansion option for this camera. I do hope in the future that perhaps the Canon engineer could sell this adapter as a standalone accessory for the QooCam 3 Ultra. Just take a look at how beautiful it is. But in the future, I would like to see the real-time volume inside this icon, so I can minor adjust my internal gain for better audio capture inside this camera. But anyway, this wireless microphone system also supports audio gain. Well, you don't have to worry too much about this audio quality. So this is a minor secret. Upon the launch day for the QooCam 3 Ultra, this is the basic walkthrough on the unboxing and the interface, and a basic exploration on some basic performance for the QooCam 3 Ultra. I think the performance goes way beyond that of the Insta360 X4. I mean, the QooCam 3 Ultra remarks another major milestone, perhaps the next generation milestone in the 360 camera industry. Definitely elevate the performance for the one-shot 360 capture with dual fisheye optical structure. I've been so excited to see the result, how it been precisely and carefully engineering and crafted by the Canon engineers. And in our next episode, I would like to share with you even more features, exciting killer features for this camera, because it takes some time to make this video, and I have to carefully explain to you so that you might figure out the real performance, just like we have on the previous QooCam 8K. So if you want to know more about QooCam 3 Ultra,
maybe you should subscribe this channel and hit thumb up. And last but not least, you can figure out my personal affiliate links down in the description, and also my personal coupon code to deliver extra discount even on the pre-order session. And what do you want to know about the QooCam 3 Ultra, and what do you want me to explain to you in our next episode series? You can definitely leave down in the comments and let me know. And I will also love to know your feedback on the brand new QooCam 3 Ultra, and you can also leave that down in the description. So that is all for today's video. If you found this video helpful, please don't forget to thumb up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Talk to you soon. See you next time. Bye.